This is Inspirational Women, a weekly series shining the spotlight on female trailblazers making a true difference in our community. Once again, here is Kate Daniels.
This is also Give Big 2025 season, where we might learn about a nonprofit we didn't know existed here in our community, or we hear some compelling information. We have Melissa Campbell, the Executive Director of Washington Farmland Trust, with us. Melissa Campbell, good morning, and thank you so greatly for being with us this morning.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
I am really excited to have you here because I feel the work that you do with Washington Farmland Trust is, well, it's life-giving. It's our survival. It's really our whole existence that exists here. And yet, my awareness of this is really happening this morning as I get to meet you. And so I'm going to be informed, as our listeners are, and find out who you are and how we can make sure you continue in existence and doing the work you do.
Thank you. I'd love to tell you more about the Farmland Trust. So we are celebrating our 25th anniversary this year. We have been protecting farmland across the state of Washington for 25 years, and we've been supporting farmers with access to resources, capacity building, and ensuring the next generation of farmers can thrive here in Washington. We do that and we accomplish our mission in a couple of ways. We purchase conservation easements, which permanently restricts the land and ensures it will be agriculture forever. And then we also support farmers in stewarding their land once it's conserved through our stewardship program, and offer micro grant programs to implement sustainable organic and regenerative practices. We also have a program called Farm to Farmer that supports new and beginning farmers, and particularly marginalized farmers, in capacity building and finding land. 70% of our farmers are set to retire in the next 10 years, and many of those farmers don't know who's going to come next. So ensuring we have a pipeline of farmers who have the capacity, who are ready to take on a farm business and own land, is really critical to our mission and sustaining a future for farming in Washington.
That's so much that's going on. I'm going to start with this latest piece in terms of farmers not knowing who the next generation will be. Potentially they have kids, but they have those family members aren't really interested in continuing. So how do you work with that? Is there education that's involved, grants, or how do you do that?
Yeah, that's right. So many of our new and beginning farmers aren't coming from farm families. And so what that means is they're not inheriting land or infrastructure or a business name, and they're really starting from scratch. And many of them are new and entering farming communities. So a lot of what our work is at the Farmland Trust is in part community building with and for the farmers that we support as they're entering new communities and looking for land. But we're also really providing resources, how to evaluate a piece of land if you've never purchased a piece of land before, how you think about water and water availability, establishing your goals and right-sizing your goals alongside a piece of land. We have a website where we can actively connect people who have land with people who are looking for land. And then we have staff who are on the back end of that website who are bilingual, who can support farmers across the state in finding land and connecting to landowners, and also finding resources to help their businesses thrive. And we're really happy to share we can offer that program in a variety of languages and through our website to be able to serve more and more aspiring farmers in Washington.
So that sounds somewhat akin to being like a mentorship program to be able to do that kind of information giving and sharing.
Yeah, it's some of our staff at the Farmland Trust are actually farmers, so that really helps kind of ground our mission in the reality of farming. For our Farm to Farmer program that supports new and beginning farmers, one of our staff members is a farmer themselves, and can bring that lived experience to bear when they're supporting new and beginning farmers, what it looks like to access, resources as a new and beginning farmer. We serve this program in Western Washington and Eastern Washington. Those are very different farming environments. And so our staff are actually split across the state, one here in Western Washington and another in Eastern Washington, to ensure we're providing the appropriate expertise based on where people live and have their farm businesses. And so while it is staff supporting on the kind of the technical assistance side, we're often connecting folks with other organizations or resources like Extension, farm incubators, so they can get the expertise and mentoring they need through those other programs. We're really kind of on the back end supporting people through building their farm business, finding land, and establishing themselves on a piece of farmland.
The finding land piece of it, is it existing land? Is it looking for just land that's out there, although it's kind of shrinking these days? How does that happen, Melissa?
Yeah, so we do a lot of work in across all of our programs to develop relationships in communities and in agricultural communities. So we have that kind of firsthand relationship and knowledge of what's going on in the farm community. Historically, land has changed hands between neighbors. People have found land on Craigslist, and we're finding we just need more resources for, especially for our new generation of farmers, to see where there is land in our state. And so what we start with is relationship building, connecting with landowners who are interested in either conservation or making their land available to another farmer. And then we'll either do intentional outreach and connect those two, the farmer and the person who has land, or we'll make an email introduction and have them have a conversation about the land available and if it matches the farmland seekers' interests. But it takes time, and a lot of times we have partnerships in communities, and that often helps connect farmers who are looking for land with different landowners. So we, as a statewide organization, we heavily rely on partnerships with other farm organizations, conservation districts, county government, who all hold those relationships, and then we can be the facilitator to help folks find land.
So, this is all part of Give Big 2025 that we're connecting today. What do you hope to see? What do you need to see from this big campaign?
Yeah, Give Big is an important giving day for many nonprofits across the state and here in Seattle, and especially for the Farmland Trust. 70% of our giving as an organization comes from individuals, and many of those individuals give through giving days like Give Big. And so we're hoping folks in our community show up and support the land and the people who provide food for folks every day. And so as an organization, it's incredibly important. And also showing up for our farmers and our farmland on a day like Give Big is incredibly important as well.
And I noticed on your website that you have an incentive, that there's a match that's going on.
Yes, we do. We have a generous group of donors who stepped forward in honor of our 25th anniversary this year. And all first-time gifts made during Give Big will be matched dollar for dollar up to $35,000 this year.
So, all the more reason. I mean, we know fundamentally this is so critically important to have farmland because the foods that are produced, well, on both sides of the mountain, are critical to our lives, to our basic existence. So, to be able to do this and support the work is pretty fundamental, pretty critical, right?
Thank you. Yeah, we see farmland and food kind of at the nexus of so many critical issues, whether it's climate change, food access, land conservation, and really investing in food and farmers helps us accomplish so much amidst a moment of change and uncertainty.
Yes, and a great deal of uncertainty because I was listening to one of the young, I'm going to say younger farmers, someone who's been doing the work now for 10 years, but came into it, I think, as a someone who wasn't farming, and saying how this is so challenging because so much of so many of the workers are migrant workers, and we know how much under fire that is. So that's another reason for us to become more informed and to give more support, right?
That's right. That paired with escalating land prices, as well as the impacts of climate change and rapid development, not just in this region, but across the state. There are so many pressures that our farmers are facing, including labor and immigration issues. It's just incredibly important that we support farmers and the folks who put food on our plate every day.
And perhaps there's some misunderstanding or a miseducation that goes on that we talk about migrant workers. They are here legally. They come here for specifically this. They have a working visa, if you will, right?
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Yep. And farm workers are critical to our food security here in Washington State.
Yes. What about volunteering? Is there room for that with Washington Farmland Trust?
Yeah, we have a growing volunteer program. We love to get folks out on the farm and getting their hands dirty, doing restoration events. Many of Washington's farms and the farms that we've conserved are adjacent to a river or a stream. And part of our work is not just ensuring protection of that farmland, but ensuring the habitat on the property or adjacent is also protected. So we utilize our core of volunteers to support our habitat restoration efforts, and as well as getting involved in local gleaning efforts where they're harvesting food in partnership with local community-based organizations that support food banks. Um, and so we're continuing to build out that program and ensuring we can have a variety of opportunities for folks to get engaged both with the mission of the trust and their local farms.
And so, how do we go about doing the support and getting more information?
Thank you. Yes, you can visit to support the Farmland Trust, our website. It's wafarmlandtrust.org. And of course, you can go to WA Gives and look for the Farmland Trust to support the Farmland Trust through Give Big.
Yes. So, a couple of very big ways to be involved, especially at this time, because it is like kind of mid-year and we have a lot of stuff going on. So really critical to show our support in a very strong way. And for you, what is your passion with a Washington Farmland Trust?
You know, I grew up in a farming community in the Midwest and saw firsthand how farmers and farm and agricultural livelihoods impact for the good have provided benefit to our communities and local economies. And I feel incredibly passionate about farmland and their connection to our communities, but also farming and agriculture as a solution for climate change. They are uh, positive forces when it comes to us thinking about our climate crisis. And we have a lot of amazing land stewards out there doing great work on behalf of all of us, growing food, using sustainable practices that support climate resilience. And that is an increasing need and one that I'm incredibly passionate about. And just feel grateful to be able to, use that lens and work at the Farmland Trust to ensure we all have access to food now and into the future.
Yes, yes. Again, it's fundamental to our lives to have food and to have healthy food. That's the other thing with growing natural foods in a sustainable way and having small farms and supporting each other. That's a cooperative effort that's going on too that works really well, doesn't it?
That's right. I think a lot of people would be surprised to know that Western Washington has 44% of our state's farms are in Western Washington, and particularly Western Washington, but also across the state, we have a thriving small farm community. And those are the farms that often start to feel the crunch of the economy and affordability and labor the most. And so, small farms are a critical part of our economy, but they're also a really critical part of our communities. We're able to buy food directly from many of them through the farmers markets or their CSA, and it's our window into the complexity of agriculture. Many of them open up their farm businesses so we can all go out and visit in the fall for U-Pick and various farm celebrations. But local farms, sustainable farms are really the fabric of our communities and what makes Washington great. And we're just the Farmland Trust is committed to supporting especially small farmers, and especially in times like these.
Well, it is, again, such critical work, and it's just our life, I can see, just wrapped up in all of this. So let's mention the website again so people can get more information and support and get involved.
Thank you. Yes, so Washington Farmland Trust, it's www.wafarmlandtrust.org. And for Give Big, you can go to www.wagives.org and search by the name, mission, population served, or geography to make a gift for Give Big.
Well, Melissa Campbell, I so appreciate you. You're doing such critical work in our community, in our state. So thank you for that, and thank you for giving us more of a lens into this important organization here.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great to talk with you.